The miracle of the first verse of the Book of Mormon, evidence of divine foresight in 1 Nephi 1:1. Repeating common words in a long sentence or a paragraph, that seems to have been common for skillful writers of English in the 20th century, not in the early 19th century. This photo of the printer's manuscript of the Book of Mormon includes the first verse of 1 Nephi. The fourfold repetition of the word having is spread out across most of this long sentence. Here's the threefold repetition of my days. And in all, that two-word phrase is repeated at the two-time repetition. What is going on here? This kind of style, or this tool, in writing of English books and other literature in English. This is common after 1859, when Charles Dickens first wrote his book, The Tale of Two Cities. That's when it became common. Remember, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times, it was such and such of such and such, it was this of that, and then later it alters but it's still commonplace words that are used repeatedly, but in a not too close together. The words are spaced out, and that's the way we have in the Book of Mormon. But the first printing of the Book of Mormon was in 1830. Early in 1830, how in the world did anybody know about that type of style that would become so popular in the 20th century? It's like it's a miracle. Here's what happens with the spacing of these. Having is mentioned 4 times. And it's more the first part of the long sentence, beginning with near the very beginning, but it doesn't go to the end. The other words are spaced out in different ways. But what is the purpose of this type of writing, spacing out repetitions of commonplace or semi-commonplace words? There are 2 single word, having and therefore, and then there's 2-word phrases, my days and in all. My days and in all, those are not quite so commonplace, but still they're borderline common. Here's what happens. As the reader begins this sentence, he or she will find that the words are repeated in such a way that it makes it easy, and it's artistic language in English. It makes it easy to get into it and get into the end of the sentence and then into the next sentence, which is the second verse of the Book of Mormon. And especially useful after 1859, particularly in the 20th century. If you look back in the 1800s, like late 1700s, early 1800s, I don't know any book where it uses this kind of style, especially not in the very beginning, to introduce a book, the very first sentence of a novel or other book in English. They just did not write that way. Very unusual. And look at the special way that this word therefore is used. Slightly different subject here, but this, I, Nephi, having been born of goodly parents, therefore I was taught somewhat in all the learning of my father, and have seen many afflictions in the course of my days here. Then you get to the end of the long sentence, and what do you have? Therefore I make a record of my proceedings in my days. You know, there's a relationship here that's not just with words, it's with the meaning. Consider, what does it mean when Nephi said, therefore, I make a record of my proceedings in my days? What does that basically mean in a simple form? Why would he make a record? Well, to teach. He wants people to know, what Nephi wants people to know what he experienced and what his family experienced. In other words, he's teaching people about his life and his experience with God and prayer and miracles and receiving protection and guidance from God. And so basically what it means is the beginning of the sentence you have, therefore, the beginning of the sentence, he says, therefore, I was taught. The end of the sentence, therefore, I teach. That's what it means. See the relationship. I'll make more videos about this, including some more information about this wonderful first verse of the Book of Mormon. And I hope you'll join me then. Thank you.